Hey everybody, Dr. Sean here. Today's video, I want to discuss doing full body MRI scans, when you should do an MRI scan and how you should be doing instead of how the system wants you to do it. I'm going to get into Kim Kardashian recently did that and explain whether it's a good idea, whether you should be doing it. And I'm going to show you in this video inside a vegan. So I had another client who came to me who's a vegan. They've been vegan for 5 years. Let's take a look at how they look under the hood, inside by an MRI, not just on the outside. And I'm also going to share why they decided to come and get an MRI scan. They're changing their diet. So in this particular case, they've been vegan for 5 years. Now they're going to go carnivore and use my strategy. So they'll be also taking fermented vegetables. And so we'll see how they change over a period of time, which is a great concept. So the other thing I'm going to discuss is 5 things that increase your visceral fat. So in this video, I'm going to be fair about diets. I am more of a scientist. I'm not a politician. I think there's way too much, emotion attached to the carnivore versus vegan. And, we just need to chill. Let's just follow what's going on inside you, okay? Don't be so worried about everybody else. Be more worried and concerned about yourself. And I'm going to show you some scans in this of this particular client, this vegan client, former vegan client. We're going to look at their visceral fat. We're going to look at fat around their heart fat. We're going to look at muscle fat inside their skeletal muscle called myosteatosis, or what's called human marbling. And then finally, we're going to get in what to do. All right, so here's Kim Kardashian. She recently underwent a full body scan at a place that does a full body scan. It's about $2,500 where they do this. But I was disappointed with how they do this because I have a lot of their former clients. They stopped going back there because, if you don't have cancer or something that they can do something about, why go back, They don't get better. When you come and do my protocol, you go through an MRI, I show you what to do. I tell you what to do, and then you come back and repeat it, and we show the change, okay, that you're actually getting better. So one day, other radiology centers will catch on the fact that people want to get better. They don't want to just find, things are wrong with them that the system go make money off treating. No, you want to reverse disease. You want to get awesome. You want to optimize your health. So Kim probably wasted her money because I don't suspect she's any better after that scan than she was before. But if she had cancer, that would be a good thing to find out sooner. So she had an advantage that way. All right, well, let's look at this first scan. First scan is this vegan, who's former vegan, client now. And this is his scan at the bottom. Now, you've heard, if you've been following me in the past, you want to be mostly dark inside and not so much white. You want to have a lot of good dark muscles. Now, this client has small muscles and a lot of visceral fat inside there. Now, one of the things about visceral fat is it increases your risk of sarcopenia. So visceral fat is bad, and sarcopenia is the loss of muscle mass and muscle performance. So this particular client, at least here at this one point in time, looks pretty bad. The question is he worse or better off than he was 2, 3, 4 years ago or 5 years ago when he went vegan? We don't know because he didn't have a scan. So I'm not going to complain or indict or be critical of the vegan diet in this particular client because we simply only have one scan and one point of time. But I will say anecdotally, when I do scan vegans, they tend to have more visceral fat than others. So who are eating omnivorous diet or eating meat or keto or paleo or carnivore. So lots of visceral fat. This is my scan. So comparison this time will be this client to my own scan. I got nice muscles because I crush it when I work out. I sprint, I do maximum intensity exercise. I'm not in the gym a long time. I crush it and I'm done. So my muscles are nicely developed. These muscles are shrinking. We don't know. Maybe they were getting bigger, but they certainly are not well developed in this particular scan. So let's go on and take a look at another scan. And this is of their heart, okay? So we're going to look at his scan first. So right lung, left lung. This is in between the lungs is your heart. Center of your mass is your heart. And this white stuff is this big chunk of inflammatory fat, mediastinal fat surrounding his heart. So we see this commensurate with the amount of visceral fat that you have within your abdomen. We see this fat around your heart. And my own scan here, I have almost no discernible fat around my heart, which makes me happy. I don't want to have that. Of course, I've had multiple scans and mine continue to get better and not get worse. And that gives me confidence that I'm doing the right thing for me. I don't have any doubt. I'm not tracking other things. I'm tracking these known biomarkers, visceral fat, heart fat, fat in my muscle. And no wonder I'm feeling better and doing better and performing better. All right, let's look at the third scan. This is through his legs. So again, white shows up as, or fat shows up as white. And inside his legs, he's filled with these fatty infiltrates within his legs. So again, at least at this point in time, when he came to me, this is baseline scan, he is in bad shape. And we see this commensurate with visceral fat. We also see human marbling, this fat deposition in the legs. Now, here's a 74-year-old who has very little fatty infiltrates and no muscle marbling at all in their legs. And my client is about 11 years younger. So this is what you want to look like. You don't want to look like that. And we'll rescan my client in about 3 to 6 months, maybe 2 months, and see the impact of adding in meat and ferments to hopefully show improvement. All right, so what can you do? Well, what I'd recommend if you are going to be considering a change in your diet, get a baseline scan like my client did and see where you are at a point in time. Make dietary changes, lifestyle changes, exercise changes, sleep, all the things that I talk about. Begin those things and see the impact. I don't know why people spend so much time worrying about everybody else's diet and all these other studies, because who knows whether that's going to work for you unless you do this scan. Then you can have the confidence like I got that I'm getting better. And that's what I'd like to have happen with everybody else if I can influence the curriculum in medical school. So take a screenshot of my strategy so you can learn what you got to do to reverse and get rid of visceral fat, get rid of fat around your heart, get rid of fatty infiltrates or human muscle marbling in your legs. This is a basic plan that I do for clients that come in to track them, get them at baseline, get them started on strategies, my 47 strategies. And here are 7 right here that I'm sharing. And you can learn how you could use an MRI to verify that you are getting better. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Consider subscribing to me so you can get more of my content. Maybe hit that alert button so you can get it faster and participate in my growing online community. And as always, I welcome comments. I welcome questions from my followers and subscribers. So please interact with me so I have an opportunity to share my content with other people. And if you're somebody who's thinking about changing your diet, or you're interested in wondering what would happen, consider getting MRI scans to track and know for sure how you're improving or not. Maybe you're going to get worse on a new dietary change. So this client, really commend him for coming to see what's going on. And as always, I'm fair and objective, I'm open-minded. Maybe you're somebody that has been eating the carnivore diet and you want to consider maybe adding in fruit and honey, which is kind of a popular thing that's catching on. Don't you think you want to know what's happening inside of you? So consider that. Recently I had a client gain 15 pounds in 2 weeks when they decided to do that. So maybe you should take a look and see what's going on inside of you to see if that was such a great thing. So regardless, any dietary changes, lifestyle changes, you want to do that. And I want to share at the very last thing, the 5 things that increase visceral fat so you can be aware of it. And those 5 things are: 1, processed carbohydrates, especially processed foods. Those really increase visceral fat. The second thing is alcohol. Alcohol consumption increases visceral fat. The third thing is stress. If you got stress, that increases visceral fat as well as heart fat and deposition of fat within your muscle. And the fourth thing is impaired sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, that increases it. And then chronic exercise. If you're doing a lot of durational distance running or cycling, that can interfere with your ability to eliminate visceral fat. And I'm suspicious whether it may be also participating in contributing visceral fat. So if you're somebody who does a lot of distance exercise, I highly recommend that you get an MRI scan and see what's going on in that. So, to be fair to vegans, it may have to do with a lot of other factors of a vegan or carnivore or fruitarian or anybody has a lot of visceral fat. I have to try to figure out what is going on and analyze that, put them on changes and check to see it's working. All right, well, consider passing this video on to somebody else if you know anybody else interested in changing their diet so they too can track it. All right, well, thank you very much for this video. We'll see you on another optimizing video. Dr. Sean out.